Hello everybody, welcome to the Plant Powered Show. My name is Amy Hoppy. Really excited to be introducing you to our very first demonstration today. We have the amazing Christiaan Campbell. As you can see, we are just finishing up a few little elements in the kitchen and we'll get going really shortly. So just give me a second and we'll kick off.
Okay. Thank you. Great. Yeah.
Alrighty, who's ready to see this amazing demonstration? Yay! Lots of high energy this Saturday morning. It is so cool to be here with all of you and to introduce our first chef of the day, Christiaan Campbell. He has a huge CV of incredible work. He's an incredible activist. He's been exec chef at both Boschendal and at Delaire and is currently living his dream in McGregor, partnering with Timonos and also co-founder of Living Exchange. Is that right,
That's
your
correct.
business?
Living Exchange.
I mean, there's so much he can talk about. Christiaan, I know we've got a lot to get through. Do you want to tell us what we're cooking today?
Yeah, thanks. We're going to do, obviously the theme is plant-based foods. We're going to be doing a little dumpling. We're going to mix up some dough. We're going to fill it with grated courgette and pecan nuts. We're going to steam those. We're going to whip up a little slaw, a little salad. I'm going to roast some carrots with some dukkha spice. We're going to puree that up with a bit of, with some almond milk, lovely puree, and a scattering of some stunning dukkha spice we just roasted off now. And then to always like a sweet ending, we're going to do a little chocolate tart with cashew nut cream.
Divine. So it sounds delicious. There's a lot to get through, guys, so we're going to have to let Christiaan get going. And I'm going to ask if anyone wants to just smell this dukkha, because I smelt it when it was being blended up. It is absolutely amazing.
There's about 10 ingredients and there's a lot happening. Some fennel seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds,
and Christiaan,
anything that's got flavor.
To make,
it's
but
very
the
quick.
effect is so great when it's fresh.
What we did was just roast it off in a pan, the nuts first and the seeds. Then we roasted some of the spices off and then just blended together. Very quick, easy to make.
Beautiful. So what are we starting with? The dough?
Okay, we're going to kick off with the dough. If I disappear, I'm just playing with the plugs. There isn't a trapdoor here, so I will be back.
Perfect.
I just want to do boil the water quickly. This dough is really quick and easy to make. I've just got some flour measured off, which I'm going to pop in here.
And it's just regular cake flour that we're using?
Yeah. So, and it's a semi-cooked dough already, so we're going to pour some boiling water over it. And then just needs a touch of salt. So we do this. Just a touch of salt in there. And then I'm going to measure off about 180 mils of water. Let's go.
And is it important to use boiling water?
Yeah, it helps, so you just don't have that raw flavor of dough because it's going to be steamed.
Right.
So it takes away that taste of uncooked dough, and it's also very easy. It becomes very elastic.
Oh, I see.
So it's lovely to form and shape.
Lovely.
Okay.
How's that dukkha going around? Where is it now? Can I pass it to the other side?
Okay. Do that.
Thank you. Would anyone like to smell on this side?
Cool. Let's measure off some water.
Do you want to smell some?
Okay. Just going to go and feel. Drop the water in.
Okay, here we go. Doesn't it smell amazing?
Don't try this at home. Okay, got more boiling water.
So I'd like to tell you all a story. When I met Christiaan behind the scenes, because I love a little bit of behind the scenes info while you're seeing all of this glorious action up on stage, I realized we actually have a connection, and it's so fabulous. So as it turns out, I am quite friendly with one of his family members. So small world,
it's
right?
It's a very small world.
Oh, let me just pass this dukkha to anyone else who wants to still smell.
Cool.
I think you over here. Here we go. And have you smelt it? Yes. Here we go. Isn't it divine? Lovely. It's just the best thing, having those fresh spices. Here we go.
So what you want is a really sort of pliable, firm dough.
Oh, I like it.
And look. You can obviously do this by hand once it cools down a bit, but or with a spoon.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank our amazing sponsor, Checkers. It's really incredible that they've supported the Plant Power Show for the second time. I was here last year, they were here last year, setting up this beautiful kitchen. And if you're like me, then you actually know these Simple Truth ingredients quite well. They are excellent quality products. I love cooking with them. And also they've got incredible cleaning products too, also in the range, that are very sustainable and eco-friendly. How's our dough doing, Christiaan?
I've just asked my merry helper just to give me a little bit more flour. It's a little bit too moist. As you can see, it's a little bit sticky.
Yes.
We just want it to be a bit more dry and pliable. While we're waiting on that, we're going to put together the slaw.
My favorite thing about this cabbage is just the color, right? I mean, I know it feels like it's such a simple ingredient, but the color really pops. And it's nice to have that alongside green cabbage, spring onions. What else do we have here? Mange too, some radish, parsley, garlic. Is that ginger?
Yeah. You did ask me why I haven't used coriander.
That's true. So we had this discussion backstage, because when I make a slaw, I love using coriander because I love those like typical Asian style flavors. But not everybody likes coriander, and apparently it's a genetic thing. So Christiaan was saying he's using parsley for his.
Yeah. There we go. It's coming together nicely.
You can see. So that's actually a really good tip. If it looks a bit too sticky or wet, just add a little bit more flour.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Let's see how we look now. I'm going to go a bit more. Okay,
and with these dumplings, I wanted to ask a question. How easy are they to keep and store? Because, you know, they're lovely to make once off, but then do we have to make them fresh every time? Do they keep well in the freezer or the fridge?
I often make them up as a backup if we're needing a vegan, extra vegan dish. And then I freeze if need be. So it freezes really, really well. Okay. I think we're almost there. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to wrap the dough in a cloth.
Oh wow, look at that dough, beautiful.
Going to let it rest.
And approximately how many dumplings would a dough like that make?
I'm going to make it into eight dumplings, yeah. So hopefully for about 4 people. I think I'm just going to wrap that up, let it rest. Let me take this away.
Wonderful.
Great, thanks very much.
Our little kitchen fairies are working very hard in the back behind the scenes to make this all happen.
I'm going to clear this.
Would you like to ask a question?
Why is he wrapping it in a cloth, is it?
I'm trying to be eco-conscious, so I normally wrap it in plastic wrap, but I thought I'd just wrap it in a towel and we can reuse it.
That's a good tip.
It's a green show, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to make some cashew cream now. So here I've got cashews which I've soaked overnight. All my magic helpers have soaked overnight for me, and then rinse them. I'm just going to pop them in here. Cashew cream is really quick and easy to make.
Oh.
Sorry, this jug is foreign to me. Oh dear.
It's hard enough cooking live when you're familiar with your ingredients and your equipment.
Oh dear. Okay. Would you be able to wash that for me? It's a bit savory. Okay. So the filling for the dumpling, I am going to jump around a bit just to get everything on the go. We've taken finely grated courgettes, which we've squeezed through a cloth. Which I'm just going to pop in there.
Through a cloth because they hold a lot of extra moisture.
Yeah. So you don't want that moisture oozing out into the dumpling. And then I've got some chopped pecan nuts over here, which I'm going to add. And then a touch of salt. Mm-hmm. Never forget the salt, and a touch of pepper.
It's quite an interesting combination, the baby marrows or courgettes, or zucchini, I think that's the other name for them, with the pecans.
Yeah, so the pecans almost act like breadcrumbs, and they taste a whole lot better.
Okay,
so
they actually absorb some of the moisture as well.
Yeah, and it brings a little richness to the whole
dish.
Flavor, yeah.
Did you toast the pecans before? Does it matter if they're raw?
I've just used them raw, but you can roast them for a stronger, more bolder flavor. So that'll form fillings for our dumplings. I'm just going to set that aside. For the sauce for the dumplings, we're roasting some carrots. I'm just going to dribble a little bit of olive oil over. You can use coconut oil. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say you shouldn't heat olive oil because it changes its structure. So I think if you're super conscious about your oils, maybe use coconut oil, which is a great oil to use.
And that's because of the high smoking point, right?
Yeah, and it changes the structure, which obviously has a health issue. So I think most seed oils you shouldn't really heat.
Okay.
Except for coconut oil. Great, thank you. So I'm just sprinkling some Dukkha spice over these carrots. We're going to pop them in the oven. I always cook with a little bit of salt and pepper. It's always good to add a little bit of salt in the beginning because it needs to cook into the carrots. People say, why don't you just add salt at the end? Mm-hmm. But for some reason, it just tastes better if you start off with a little bit of salt. It really cooks through the food. There we go.
And how long would you roast those carrots for, and at what temperature?
We're cooking at about 180. Sometimes you can go up to 220. We're just going to pop those in the oven, please. Okay, back to the coconut cream. I mean, not coconut cream, cashew cream. The cashews, a little touch of vanilla. Lovely no-move vanilla paste, very convenient. I've got coconut sugar somewhere as well, which I'm going to add.
So Nomu has quite an incredible baking range. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but I personally love using their vanilla pastes. It's Nomu. If anyone wants to see the product, Christiaan, if you're done, I don't want to steal the vanilla paste from you, but they really have high quality vanilla products. It's really excellent. Yes. And of course, the beautiful baking chocolate and dark chocolate.
Right. Just going to add some water. And find the on. You want to blend it really smooth. A NutriBullet is also very good for this job. What I enjoy about cashew cream, though, is that it doesn't need, you don't need to put it through a cloth.
how
that
do you know when it's
smells great.
ready? Let me smell. It smells very sweet. Lovely.
So there we
It's
go.
a funny thing about vanilla because it's not actually sweet, but the smell of it always makes you think of kind of sweet dishes.
Yeah. It's amazing ingredient. I mean, if you have to taste it neat, it's not pleasant. Anyway, okay.
Need some elbow grease for this blender.
Yeah, there we go. So that's your cashew cream.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Thick and rich and creamy.
So as a vegan, you don't need to feel deprived of thick cow's milk cream. Cashew cream does it for you with a touch of vanilla and coconut sugar as an option. There we go. Thank you very much.
Need it again?
Yes.
Lovely.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to park that there. All right, so next I want to get onto the mixture for the chocolate tarts. Just going to bring it here.
This is high-level multitasking, guys. Savory, sweet. Here we go, in between, jumping around.
Okay, that.
Let me know when I can pass the vanilla to the other side if anyone's curious to smell it or see the product. It's quite interesting.
That. I'm just going to. So this is a really quick and easy pastry base. Gluten-free. Definitely a gluten-free option.
So what are the ingredients that we're using to make the pastry base?
So here I've got some coconut fat, some molasses,
And why molasses, Christiaan?
it's just very tasty. It's like quite mouth-watering, strong flavors. Molasses. Some maple syrup. And I'm just going to give enough heat just to melt the fat so it's workable.
Let me grab that vanilla
There
and
we go.
pass it around to the other side.
And then here's a bit of cinnamon and ginger. Yeah. Great. Yep, fat's just about melted.
You curious? to
And then
taste
I'll
it?
add
Or
the
smell it?
oats. So just get that going. Great.
I feel like I'm being very unhelpful. I'm just walking around and chatting to everyone. Is there anything that I can stir or
I'm going to
do
ask you maybe just to...
a one-handed job?
You can do the stirring here. Just
Perfect.
give it a light stir. I'm just going to... That's oats that we've added there. And then I'm just going to chop up these nuts quickly.
And I see, are we using what oats? Just regular rolled oats? Does it
Yeah,
matter?
it's just rolled oats, yeah. I think you can also maybe pop it in a bowl cutter or like a Maggi mix, and you can grind it a little bit finer. I'm keeping it a little bit more chunky. Okay, I'm becoming friends with the blender. Thank you. Oh. I do have muscle strength. But, okay. Just going to chop these up a bit. Just a top tip with your blender, they should never run dry. So like me using nuts now to blend, just do quick flashes. Because if you run it dry for too long, it's not going to last very long. And when you start liquidizing things, you're going to be wondering why it's ending on the floor. So I'm just going to scrape these out. So this is a little pastry base now that we can use to, which we're going to just pop in the oven. It'll just go in the oven for about 10, 15 minutes quickly, once I've molded them. There's a new product which I haven't used before, but it's canned coconut spray, which I've sprayed this tray with. So this is the first time for me.
An experiment.
Yeah.
I love it. I've actually used the coconut spray before for quite a few different items. I find it very useful. Because I'm very liberal with my oils, always. My favorite item now is a little olive oil bottle that has a spritzer. Otherwise, I drizzle and the whole half the bottle pours out at once.
Okay, so just going to pop this in here.
So this is actually quite a versatile base that you can use for most sweet little desserts.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you could call this like a muesli bar, really, a chocolate muesli bar. So you can make it as a snack, or you can just use it in a springform tin, just make it on the base, bake it, and then put any sort of topping on it as you like. Just going to do 4, I think.
You just grab that vanilla, thank you.
Just need to find my workspace. Okay. So just going to start squashing these in. It's a lot easier to work with when it's cooler, but I'm wanting to get this done quite quickly.
Yeah.
So
we have a lot to do in a short amount of time.
So here we go. All right, so we just want to press a nice little well. In there. Cool. There we go. So what's amazing about this, it forms a lovely crust, really crunchy crust, and it's completely vegetable based.
And really simple to make, as we've seen in the process, which is great, so versatile.
So, there we go. Sometimes I wrap my finger in a little bit of cling film, just so it doesn't stick to my finger, and it makes a great way of shaping. You sort of get a non-stick finger with that. Okay.
I feel like even though there are a lot of dishes happening here, it's still really neat and tidy. Do you guys agree? I want to take this tip of prepping everything in little bowls and then doing that at home with all my cooking, because I'm like a whirlwind in the kitchen. My partner calls me Hurricane Hoppy, and he's a very clean person. And I think that is part, like you were saying, you need your space, your work surface in the kitchen, be organized.
I mean, I've started quite a few new kitchens, and it's amazing how a kitchen needs to take on a life. It takes on its own life. So it takes, a couple of weeks, and suddenly everything finds its place, and it starts taking on a life form. It becomes its own sort of living space.
With its own personality.
Yeah. And you got to learn to work with that personality. So like I'm quickly trying to learn with the personality of this space. It's like a new friendship.
Yes.
So
and
I think this should give us a good result. If we can just put that in the oven, please.
Christiaan, is about connection and relationships, not only with food, but with people.
Yeah, so my objective really is to connect people. Everybody's heard about the Industrial Revolution. I think they're talking about the 4th Industrial Revolution. And I'm more for treating people and organizations as a living system. So I look towards nature to really guide me and to guide management on how to work with people, to get people to work towards common purpose, and to treat everything as a living system. So if something goes wrong, it's just an indicator, it's a symptom. So I teach people to go back to cause and effect, and it's really about building relationships and a flow of information and building those connections. And we all got our traumas, and we've all got our hang-ups and everything, and I really teach people to connect, park that aside, because we're here for a common purpose. And that's what I'm enjoying about being here today, is that we're all here for a common purpose.
Absolutely.
And it's about connecting, and it makes it so much easier to get the job done. Okay, that's cooking in the oven quickly. I need a bit of cashew cream. I'm going to make the chocolate filling for these tarts quickly. I think I'm going to use this. Great. I'm going to refer to the recipe for this one.
I was going to say there are pamphlets on the chairs which has information about where Christiaan also does a lot of partnership work with Timonos and McGregor. So if you want to read a little bit more up on that, it's actually really interesting. I was in McGregor a couple of weeks ago. It's such a beautiful village. Have any of you guys been? It's so stunning. It's really all about that slow living, connecting back with nature, beautiful little restaurants. It's a stunning place for a getaway.
While we're waiting, I just need my little helper to bring me my chocolates, but I'm just going to make these into, so that's 4. Need to make them into 8. There we go. I just want to point something out. Has anybody ever seen anything like this before?
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That is so cool.
Okay, that's coming on nicely.
How long does it take to go off? Let's see.
I'm not sure. Okay. Just going to heat this up. So this is a chocolate filling. One of my favorite chocolates is Africoa. They're local bean to chocolate manufacturing. I think they're based in Woodstock area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
also another great local business to support. Does anyone want to try and knock the fridge and see what it feels like? I want to try it out as well.
200 mils.
That's so fun.
Do you like that? Great. Oh, it's made already. Okay. Yeah, cool. My Merry helpers have explained, they've already made the filling for me, which is very sweet. For the tart filling, it's literally 200 mils of this cashew cream. You heat up, add a vanilla to it, a touch of salt, a touch of cinnamon. And then once your liquid is hot, you just take it off, you put it on the side, and you break up your chocolate and you drop it in. You don't want to boil your chocolate. It's going to split and it's going to behave really strangely. Okay, so you don't want that happening. Especially with Africoa chocolate. If you read the label, it probably reads about 3 ingredients. And that's what you want when you look at your labels, when you're doing your shopping purchases. You know, the less that's said on the label, the better. Okay, great. All right, these dumplings, we're just going to get cracking with these quickly. Just going to put my cloth down.
So some of you might recognize, obviously, beautiful Le Creuset bowls here, but I do want to show some of you these. Mervyn Gares, one of my favorite local ceramicists. And later on today, we will be giving away a beautiful prize in one of our other demonstrations. So make sure that you do come back. We do have some beautiful bowls from him to give away. As you can see, he has a whole lot more of the range as well. Beautiful. I'm a big fan of both Le Creuset and Mervyn Gares. Those carrots
yeah,
look
that can
lovely.
go a bit longer, yeah. So it's coming on nicely.
So good.
Okay. So I'm just using this cloth with a bit of flour in it. My mixture over here, a little spoon. Let me just make sure it's pressed out. Just take a little bit of filling, pop that in.
And just for my ignorance, is there a reason that you do it on the cloth as opposed to on a board?
It helps it not stick.
Okay.
So there we go. You can see I've got a bit of flour in there. You know, when you're making breads and like ciabatta or whatever, you need to let it prove in a cloth shape.
Yes.
And it just doesn't stick. Flour in a cloth is a wonderful way of working with doughs. I think they do it with strudel as well. You put it on a cloth and you work that dough on the cloth. It's a great tool. Okay, let me just pop that in there. There we
I feel like I need to
pinch
watch
like
this
that.
folding technique
Little
with a lot.
twist. And a cut. And a push. And there we go.
I
Cool.
can tell you all that we are very shortly going to have some delicious tasters coming out. I'm sure you're keen to try and then watch the rest of the demonstration as we enjoy the beautiful food.
Should see the activity going on behind the scenes. Young, aspiring chefs working their magic in the back.
It's true. We're working with some incredible student chefs here. It's actually a wonderful learning experience for all of them. And of course, to get to connect with chefs like Christiaan, it's a really fantastic opportunity.
So we're just going there. And then I'm just going to do one more.
So I asked Christiaan earlier about a gluten-free version of this. So I know it's tricky because what you want is that elasticity in the dough.
Yeah.
I don't eat wheat, so that's I'm always after a good gluten-free option. And the reason is I'm allergic to wheat. Unfortunately, it's not that I don't want to eat all the white bread and croissants in the world. I do. Sadly, cannot anymore. And so we were talking about an alternative flour combination that could work for a recipe like this, and we were saying perhaps a combination of cassava, rice flour,
yeah.
just to create that elasticity.
Yeah.
But also, it'll work well for this kind of recipe.
Okay, so there we've got 4 little dumplings. Got a little magic steamer here, which we'll pop these guys on. There we go. We'll just pop that there and forget about them for the moment. Great. Just going to tidy up a little bit. A little bit of chaos. Okay, so when it comes to working with vegetables and vinaigrettes and what have you, a top tip is just need to find a bowl for just to dress. Thank you. For this is always to add the acidity before the oil. So we're just going to.
I didn't know that. It's a great tip.
Because the acidity breaks down the vegetable, but if you add oil, the oil coats the vegetables and prevents the acidity from breaking down the vegetables.
That is fascinating. Did you guys know that? I feel like I've just learned something that is changing my life.
So we're just going to do that.
What I tend to do is often mix the dressing together and then pour it over.
Yeah.
But the trick is to vinegar first, then oil, and then seasoning last.
I'm going to add the salt and the vinegar because the salt also helps draw and break down the vegetables as well.
I see.
So there we go. So yeah, I've just got a bit of red cabbage. I mean, you can put whatever you like in here. I've just gone for sort of a good mix of flavors. Some radish. So I've added some chopped parsley, garlic, and ginger, which I'm going to add into the mix. Okay, and then somewhere I've got some acidity. There we go. So I've used apple cider vinegar from Simple Truth.
Yeah. Apple cider vinegar also has a lot of health benefits, right?
Yeah. And
so good for us.
And then you just massage it in. I'm going to ask you, can you grind some salt because I'm in too deep?
All right, I'm going to try and do this. Watch this happening here. This is like pure.
I've asked you to do something
magic.
you clearly asked me not to ask you to do. So.
Is that enough? Do we need
a little bit more?
Okay.
Okay. So you can see the vegetables starting to wilt already. If this was a ready-made vinaigrette, it would take a little bit longer. So I'm just going to leave that there. Now I just don't know how I'm going to clean my hands, so I'm just going to use a cloth. It's quite funny when I'm in a commercial kitchen, I'm always using a cloth like this, and when I go home, my partner says, "What are you doing? Wash your hands first." But I'm so ingrained to use this cloth. Okay, I mean that's looking amazing.
Yeah,
that's
that is looking
so
beautiful.
Good. Can you spot the blender anyway, the jug? No.
Let me quickly go and
I'm
find
messing
that
the
blender.
kitchen. Okay, I'm going to check on the carrots.
The blender's on its way. I was going to say, again, the hurricane hoppy that I told you about earlier, she uses about 3 dishcloths. To my partner's like absolute nightmares. Those are not cloths for hand wiping.
Okay,
so paper towels save me.
So the carrots are looking great. The aroma is really good. I'm just adding a little bit of almond milk. Yeah, there we go. Just the chocolate filling. Yeah. Oh, great. Stunning. Thank you. I just added the milk into the tray just to get those sort of roasting juices. I don't want to waste anything. Let me just move this kettle aside. Meeting my old friend again. Okay. Let's pop this in here.
And obviously that almond milk also helps with making the beautiful texture of the puree.
Yeah, so we got that. And the Dukkha spice is almost like a thickener in a way, not just flavor, but just all those seeds will act as to help build a great texture. Do that.
Wonderful.
Okay, we're not friends. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to scrape down the sides. Okay, we're still fighting.
But it works really well.
Yeah.
Blending very quickly.
Yeah, but the lid won't fly off. I'm just going to do that. Okay. Just scrape down the sides just to make sure. Yeah, that's looking lovely. Just going to, no, I'm not. I feel like everybody's watching me. so I just instinctively know it just needs a dash more salt. Okay, let's see how these guys are doing.
How do you know when they're ready?
I normally do this in a little really crazy steamer I bought from a supermarket. I think it's like a real little steamer, but it's coming on quite nicely. It's almost there.
Lovely.
I think 5 minutes there and that's done. I'm just going to switch this guy off before we hurt ourselves. All right, so we got the Slaw.
Do you prefer cooking on gas, or what is your preference?
I enjoy gas because it's instant heat. I've tried induction, which is really great. In Holland, I went for an interview many years ago, and I had to cook on induction, and it was really tricky. So I'm very comfortable on gas. I've been raised on gas, so I kind of stick to gas. Let me see. We
also
just need
helps
a nice
with all the load
plate.
shedding.
All right. Okay. Just going to use this lovely. I think one of the greatest things about Mervyn Gers is actually going to his factory and seeing the production there. It's amazing. It's also Mervyn Gers. He manages to say expletives in a way that it just sounds like poetry, which is another amazing aspect about him. And then he's got a giant Russian terrier, which is the most gorgeous dog you could ever lay your eyes on. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to take this puree, and I'm just going to kind of
This is my favorite part because I feel like no matter how I try and plate, I can never plate like the professionals.
I can see the cameraman flinching. So, okay. All right. Okay, so I just need to add, this is smelling, get a whiff of that.
Oh my word, that is amazing.
So we're just going to add a little bit
of... It's the ginger and the garlic that's coming out beautifully.
Olive oil. Just get that going. Okay, so that's great.
What I'm already loving about this dish is that for me it's a variety of textures. I love having a meal that has crunchy, soft, and I think this combination with the dumplings as well, really beautiful. And the colors, the vibrant green and purple and the orange from the carrot, because we do eat with our eyes as well.
Yeah. Great.
Oh, I can see our bases have come out. Lovely, they're smelling great. Can you guys smell them? Beautiful.
So I'm just going to put 2 dumplings down. Put those down. Put that back. Lovely pile of slaw. And then take some Dukkha spice. And we're just going to scatter some of this awesomeness everywhere. And there you got a lovely, robust plant-based food. So I always eat my vegetables last when I'm dining. So, but when I do eat vegetables, I really want everything to have a lot of flavor. If you're on a plant-based diet, there's no reason to have a bland life. Okay, so if you're eating bland food on a plant-based diet, there is hope. There's a different way. Here's an example.
Put the acid in first. We've learned some great tips here today. And now we've still got our dessert to wrap up.
Yeah.
I know that we spoke through the filling earlier, but can we just remind everyone how we did the filling one more time?
So this is cashew cream mixed with a bit of chocolate and and we've emulsified it. We're going to just, I think, let me check this out.
They're quite crispy around the edges.
Yeah. I'm going to take a risk. I would have preferred them to be cool before taking out, but I'm just going to, no, it's not going to.
So it's better to let them cool down for a little bit. Is that because it affects the filling? Yeah,
because of the fat, the coconut fat, and the sugars.
Because it melts.
Yeah. Let me see.
I don't know if anyone wants to smell the flavors from the slaw before you get your samples. It's really incredible to just smell that fresh ginger coming out of that bowl.
I'm just going to pop these in the... Actually, I don't know if this will fit quickly. Just pop it in there.
Hey guys, the back.
Great.
Welcome.
All right.
You're just here in time for the finish, the finale.
I just want to, 5 minutes, I just want to let these cool down so they can set so I can put the chocolate filling in, and we'll finish off with a little bit of this cream. I just want to say that the magic of working with food is it's something I learned many years ago, is that, I don't know if anybody's heard of alchemy or the alchemist or anything like that. And I think when you're cooking with food, think of yourselves as an alchemist. So food and nutrition is really based from the soil. I think we should all be striving for nutrient-dense food. Nutrient-dense food can only come from healthy living soils. On the one side, we've done a terrible job over the last 50 years. We thought we could just add 3 ingredients into the soil, don't worry about soil health, plants look lovely and green, but we're literally eating ourselves to death and starving because the food that we're growing at the moment, or in many cases, doesn't have high nutrient-dense quality to it. So it's really up to all of us through our purchases and the way we shop is to really strive for where does this food come from, and is the soil left in a better, healthier space once it's harvested. If we can strive for that as a collective, it can solve the broken carbon cycle, we can restore water cycles, stop polluting our rivers. So there's huge benefits. But moving from that, so you harvesting food from these beautiful soils, we have these ingredients here, but it's our input as human beings, that living factor. When we're working with food, to put that love into the food, So when you're changing from one form to another, whether it's with heat or it's with acidity or whatever the case is, when you're bringing that together, ensure that your environment, the people you're working with, or if it's just yourself, what are you thinking when you're preparing this food? Are you like strung out from work still or not? Or maybe you should just take a deep breath and then put your food together, because I've seen it in restaurants where I've been serving food and I'd serve it and I think, wow, it's not looking as nice as I'd like to. But we've been getting huge compliments purely because the team is working together, there's respect, there's love, and you can do the same in your own home, because you can make your food as technical as possible, but if there's anger and there's angst in the kitchen, it goes out with that plate of food. So cook with love, cook for your families and friends with lots of love and connect. Yeah. All right.
100% believe in that. In fact, if I'm at home and I realize that I'm not really in a great headspace to cook, I actually choose not to, because I'll often just not make the best version of that meal. And then my go-to is sandwiches. Literally like the most easy thing that I can make. Our kitchen fairy has just let me know that the dumplings are just taking a little bit longer, that they're just waiting for them to finish. Everything else is ready, so if you can bear with us a couple more minutes, and then you'll be getting tasters of this dish. But I thought if any of you would like to have a look at the final version, I'll just bring it around. Looks really beautiful. And all that dukkha just really absolutely makes it. Smells divine, right? Smells beautiful. Again, it's a Christian's plating that is just so gorgeous. Exactly. Yes, right? It was the splattering technique. We all need to get that wrist action.
I'm going to... I've tried to rush the dessert.
Sorry, I don't want to
and I'm going to have to make another plan to bring it to a conclusion. So, let me see what I can do. Could you give me another spoon like this one, a matching one like this? Thank you. Thank you.
How beautiful is the bowl? Oh, thank you so much.
So, I'm going to just bring this dish together in a deconstructed way, because my pastry didn't set. I was rushing it too much. But let's get creative.
Yes, that's how we do things in this kitchen here today. Very creative, and I think all of us have been in a situation before where we've had to suddenly make magic out of chaos. But your plate is very beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks.
You.
I'm just waiting on another matching spoon. Thank you. Let me move it. I'm going to come back here. So this mixture does set really nicely once cool.
A few forks here if someone would like to come up and try Christian's ready-made dish already while we're just waiting for our samples. Maybe I can put it out here in front. Thank you. Just going to pop these over here. And is anyone interested in just tasting the cashew cream? Because I am. Can we possibly have some extra spoons? No double dipping.
Okay.
The texture is just so beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see that kind of thick, beautiful texture.
Take a bit of the cashew cream.
I nearly gave it away.
Okay. And we'll just...
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Am I allowed to offer some sample tastes of the cashew cream when you're done?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay!
Here we go.
Thank you. Right. Who wants to try some? Here, a whole bunch of spoons. I'm definitely going to go ahead and try a little bit of this.
Great.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I've just done a deconstructed thing out of necessity, but we got the lovely oat crumble, the chocolate filling, and the cashew nut cream.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you. So everybody, I hope you learned a thing or two.
I certainly did. So thank you so much, Christiaan. This was
Yeah.
amazing.
And
I feel like it's always a task to take on cooking the first show of the day. So thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Good. I'm back on tomorrow. I've learned my kitchen space. I think we'll be nice and smooth tomorrow, extra smooth. Look forward to seeing you maybe tomorrow at, I think, 11:15.
Perfect. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you,
so
everybody.
much.
Thanks.